What's up? What's going on out there? Salute, salute, salute. Salute to the fam. It is the homie. Main man, made man in the building. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Once again, it's on, fam. Once again, it's an honor and a pleasure. I repeat, a honor and a pleasure to be on here with all of the boxing fam and the boxing fans. It's Sunday night, so you know what that means. It's our time now, man. Salute to everybody out there, man. Salute, salute. Hope y'all having a wonderful day. Hope y'all had a cool weekend, man. Y'all enjoyed the fights last night. And don't forget, thumbs up as you pull up. I see the fam already pulling in. I'll be right in front of y'all in just a minute. I got Fistiana in the building. Salute to your queen. Salute to Fistiana. Fam right there in the building. Salute to you. I got Bruce Goals riding with me tonight. What's up, Bruce? What's going on? Salute to Bruce Goals, man. All day. And of course, Robbie Brown is in the building. Salute to your family. Salute to your Chin Smoke. What's up with you, man? What's going on? Oh, yeah, there go my main man. 100 grand, and y'all best to be over there checking them out. That is Supreme Beast Boxing Talk in the building. My main man Cadillac Red, I see you, homie, riding with me, man. You know I ride with you all day. We ride, man. Y'all already know, man. So we gonna talk this real spill, man. We definitely gonna talk this real spill tonight. We got some topics we gonna roll through. Y'all know how we do on We Talking Boxing. So I got a full jam-packed show ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right in front of y'all in just a minute. Just let me cue up some things, because I want to make sure that my house together. You know what I'm saying? Real spill. All right, let me get right in front of y'all right about now. Yes, sir. We're going to do it like this today. You know, we're going to do it in a real chill environment if it's cool with everybody. Hopefully the mic ain't too loud, or had to tweak some things, but hopefully the mic ain't too loud and everybody is comfortable with the audio out there, man. So, you know, we ain't really got much small talk today. I just want to wish everybody a good week on getting started on your week. You know, don't start this week off with no stress. This is another week to be great. Whatever y'all got to go out there and tackle this week, just knock it on out. You know what I mean? So y'all can come on back next weekend and rock with the homie right here for these fights. Y'all already know. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really got much small talk to get to. I think we're going to start rolling through these topics. You know what I'm saying? Real spill, L Foul player in the building. What's up, family? You already know. You already know. So without any further ado, fam, I think we got a whole long list of things to talk about tonight. So let's get it started. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it started. Now, for this first thing that we going to roll out, well, I've been reminding y'all at the top of each show, you know, how many more days that we got left, allegedly, from the 30-day countdown. Now, we all already know what the 30-day countdown is. Remember, we was told by Tyson Fury in his camp in the Joshua situation, by Eddie Hearn, that they had 30 days from the day they had signed that contract, which was now 2 Saturdays ago. We are down to 16 days, fam. 16 days. Don't remember. They had 30 days to find a date and a venue and to line all of this up, or else Tyson Fury can walk and AJ can walk. So I want y'all to remember exactly where we are. So I tuned over on BT Sports. And who do we got sitting over there on BT Sports? Big John Fury. Big John Fury, the father of Tyson Fury. And he had this to say.
Whether these Cowboys get the job sorted, which I don't think they're going to do. What they've signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. Tyson needs to fight twice this year.
Run that back.
Without AJ. Tyson's not bothered by any heavyweight on the planet. What next for Tyson is we need to get him out. Whether these Cowboys get the job sorted, which I don't think they're going to do. What they've signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. They've signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. Tyson needs to fight sorted, which I don't think they're going to do. What they've signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. Tyson needs to fight twice. Get the job sorted, which I don't think they're going to do. What they've signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. Tyson needs to fight twice this year, with or without AJ. Tyson's not bothered by any heavyweight on the...
So that's the father of Tyson Fury coming out now with 16 days left saying we got nothing. No dates, no venue. So I'll reserve my judgment until we get to the end of these 30 days. But we're now about 2 weeks removed from Tyson Fury having that public meltdown, fam. We about 2 weeks removed from that. And ain't nothing shook. Ain't nothing shaking. According to the father, Tyson Fury, no date, no venue, no nothing. Could this all be an act? Could this all be something to just try to keep us crazy? Could be. But the clock is ticking. 16 days, family. 16 days. And we dying to see if they're going to find a date and venue within these 16 days. Now, for me looking, like I tell y'all last week, UK, don't see it happening. With the situation that's playing out there, don't see it happening. Different variants and stuff like that, don't see it happening. Middle East, small possibility. Very small. Do I think it gets done by the summertime? I doubt it. I got my doubts on that. From what they're saying and everything that's being reported from that part of the world. So, chances looking grim. 16 days, family. 16 days. Let's get it pushing, man. Let's go through these topics, man. So at the end of the day, we'll see if they pull that on out or if this little thing called arbitration is the real thing that's holding this up. 16 days. 16 days. Let's go, man. Dillian Whyte last night, fresh off that big win last night, fam. Fresh off that big win. The talk of the day is soft touch Dillian. I told y'all last night. Dillian Whyte said that after that fight last night, he wants a soft touch. He wants an easy fight. And I wondered last night, looking at his resume, does Dillian Whyte deserve an easy fight? He says he's been through the fire. He says he's been in the oven. He says he's been, going through the fire, going through some of the hardest fights out there. And he's been taking them with no problem. So that makes me say, you know what? Let me take a second look at this. So let's look at Dillian's resume. And let's see if Dillian deserves an easy fight. Now, this takes it all the way back to at least 2017, right? So we're going to count off, I think the only two that's not part of this list right here is the Anthony Joshua fight, which happened, I think, in 2016. And it was one more big fight I thought he had. I think another one with Derek Chisora. I think that first one with Chisora is not on here. But outside of that, all the way back to 2017. What's up, DGO? I see you, family. All the way back to 2017. This is Dillian Whyte's list. Malcolm Tan. Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius is in the win column right now, right? Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown supposed to be coming back. I seen him on the betting line, so he definitely making it back. But Lucas Brown. Robert Helenius. Malcolm Tan. He did Joseph Parker in 2018. Derek Chisora behind Joseph Parker. Is Joseph Parker a tough fight? Joseph Parker is considered a top tier heavyweight, right? Or at least top 10. I'd say at least top 10. So that's one top 10 heavyweight right there. Helenius, Lucas Brown, Malcolm Tan, not top 10 heavyweights. Derek Chisora, not a top 10 heavyweight in my opinion. In my opinion. Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas was undefeated. He was almost a dark horse to a lot of folks when Dillian Whyte fought him. Remember, that's the fight that Dillian Whyte popped in. That's the fight that he popped in. That's the one that he want everybody to forget. Marius Wack. Marius Wack, he looked horrible in that fight until he got the knockout. That's the one that everyone says he was so depressed and he was dealing with that fallout from the Oscar Rivas situation, so his head was in the clouds. But Marius Wack is not top-tier talent. That's not a top 10 opponent. Alexander Povetkin being knocked out cold by Alexander Povetkin. That, to me, is his best claim for an easy touch. The fact that he been knocked out cold. And he went back in there and he avenged that loss. But if we looking at it like, is this the creme de la creme of the heavyweight division that demands him to ask for an easy touch? Is this the fire that he says he's been through? Because you can't use the Joshua fight and go that far back because he's had easy touches since that Joshua fight. I mean, is this the easy touches? I mean, is this the fire that Dillian Whyte says he's been through? Now, I don't knock fire. Alexander Povetkin is a good fighter, and he did get knocked out by Povetkin. That, to me, is his best claim. But Rivas really didn't do much. Didn't he fight with he had that one win, I think it was over Brian Jennings. Rivas ain't really do much, man. I mean, and Derek Chisora ain't really been much, Ain't no Luis Ortiz's up in there. Ain't no Andy's up in there. I mean, is this really the killer list that he gets the easy touch behind? Look, at the end of the day, we know Dillian White wants to keep that WBC mandatory chance alive. And I don't want to say he hiding out or want to just, duck and dot and, kind of lay low until that title shot comes around. Which, truth be told, I guess, given how long he's been waiting, I understand his point of view. But I mean, I don't know if boxing fans really going to be totally on board with giving them that soft touch. Are we totally on board with that? I mean, I guess because he got knocked out, right? I guess because he got knocked out. Silver Salomo, what's up, family? I see you. DGO says, yo, White has the best resume after AJ. But if that's what you want to say, that's fine. But I'm saying, far as, is this the fire, though? He says he's been through so many hard fights. He deserves an easy fight. And look, man, I'm not one of these dudes that's going to baby him because he got depressed post Oscar Rivas, and look crap in the Maurice Walk fight. I mean, I'm not going to give him. That's on him. He made that a tougher fight. Is that really the fire? That's the fire? He wants a soft touch. I don't know. I mean, it looked like to me he kind of used up the soft touches of the heavyweight division right here. It's like it's already been, it's already kind of been used up. But I guess he says he wants it soft touch. The fact of the matter is he did go back and get his position back. He got his WBC interim belt back, and he got knocked out cold. So, and I'm sure he had probably a long, grueling training camp, waiting around, given that Povetkin had got sick and everything like that. So he probably had a long training camp and tired himself out and wore himself down. But at the end of the day, bro, I can't sit here and say that this is the killer list. It's not, to me, because of the opposition that he's been fighting that I say give him a touch. It's the fact that he's getting over a knockout. And it's the fact that he went in there and avenged himself, and he had to go through a long training camp in order to be prepared for Alexander Povetkin. For that, I might be willing to say okay for a touch. But I'm not going to say it's because of his resume. I'm not going to say, fam. That I'm not going to say. DGO says, give him Wilder, and that's a tune-up for White. Yeah, you give him Wilder right now, he going night-night. He's still learning, bro. He's still learning his newfound style. He's still learning what kind of fighter that he want to be. You feel me? So we'll see. So for that reason alone, that would be the only reason that I would think to give Dillian White a soft touch. I mean, but he did a good performance last night, man. Went back and watched the fight again. I thought he did a really good performance, man. I like the pace. Like I said, I like the jab. I like what he brought in that fight. He did that against 40-plus-year-old Povetkin. Getting away from Deontay Wilder's right hand and working behind your jab for over, 6-7 rounds. Well, that ain't going to be that easy. I don't care what y'all saying, fam. That ain't going to be that easy, man. You dig? That ain't going to be that easy. I see somebody say, who said that? Hey, he say, hey, who's that? DJ. Hold on, let me roll you down here. Oh, that's DJ Zion Love, man. What's up, fam? He say, man, no soft touch. No soft touch. If people feel that way, looking at his resume, they're not going to be convinced. They're not going to be convinced. It's going to almost look like he kind of crying and whining like a little baby. I need a soft touch because I beat up on Oscar Rivas and Maurice Walk. I don't know. Lost one. What's up, family? Hey, man, what's good, man? This may sound crazy, but I think White may have Wilder if he presses him like he did Povetkin. Would throw him off. My thing is, if he comes out pressing Deontay Wilder like he came out pressing Alexander Povetkin, no way. That ain't smart, bro. That ain't smart. Alexander Povetkin's toolbox and Deontay Wilder's toolbox are two different boxes. Two different boxes. A tall, longer, rangy fighter. Alexander Povetkin is a short, compact, older fighter that clearly got old overnight in that ring. That ain't Deontay Wilder, bro. He has a threatening weapon that if you jump wildly like that and you run into something, but it ain't smart. If he's smart, he boxes. He tries him to emulate what Luis Ortiz did if he want to be that kind of fighter. But jumping wild, If he want to jump wild on Deontay Wilder, he gonna have to soften Wilder up. It ain't gonna happen, bro. He gonna run into a straight right hand like a Mack truck, man. He gonna be on his back. I'm trying to tell y'all, gonna be on his back. You know what I'm saying? DJ Zion Love says, Povetkin look drugged. Yeah, I can't say that, man. I ain't gonna, like I told people last night, I'm not gonna say there ain't no lingering effects was up in there. I'm not gonna say he was totally 100% Alexander Povetkin. That I don't know. And given what I know from personal experience with that thing, You know, could be the case. But we can't do that, man. We can't make no excuses. He should have pulled out of the fight. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Wilder by all the way knockout. White ain't ready by far, bro. Not yet. He learning. He learning on the job. He learning something new. Just like when AJ beat Andy Ruiz in that second fight and he turned into a completely different AJ, it's no way in God's green earth that you put that version of AJ into the ring with Deontay Wilder. You don't do it. If you do it, he gone. He learning on the job. He has not perfected the things that he's learning yet. And you got to be perfect. Oh, I don't think y'all hear me on this one. Hey, Sade, you got to be perfect for all 12 rounds. And he got to be perfect for 2 seconds. I like that. That's just the facts of the matter. And I don't see Dillian White doing it. Now, can he soften him up after 6 rounds? Doubt it. I doubt it, bro. I doubt it, man. But we're going to move on from Dillian White. We'll see what Dillian White chooses to do. We got a lot more stories to get to, fam. We're going to see what Dillian White chooses to do, man. Like I said, it's not the resume that's making me say, I guess I'm all right with giving him an easy touch. It's the fact that I know he wants to remain in position. He's been there for over 1,000 days. He's been knocked out, got his belt, got his positioning back. And he's been through a lot. So if he want to take the touch, take the touch. Don't expect us to pay any damn attention to it. Don't expect us to pay any damn attention to it, but take the touch. But who can the name be? I mean, damn. He's already got Helenius. He's already got Lucas Brown. Who can the touch be? Charles Martin? Charles Martin and Dillian White. How we feel about that? Charles Martin and Dillian White. How we feeling about that? DGO says Wilder is a sucker for that left hook, and White has a suspect whiskers. That makes a compelling fight. It's going to be a compelling fight, but I'm all the way favoring Deontay Wilder. And that's just skill for skill. I just think that Deontay Wilder is has too much to offer. I think Dillian White will be nervous. I think Dillian White honestly will be shaky in front of Deontay Wilder. People don't see that, but I see it. All of that tough talk from safe spaces, that's one thing. But I think when he's right there in front of Deontay Wilder, when he's right there in front of Bomb Squad and on the big stage, in front of the big lights, and he's seeing all of these highlights of knockouts after knockout after knockout, I think he gets jitters. I think he gets nervous. I'm telling you, that's what I think. I think he's been waiting for this moment for so long that it's going to be a heavy moment for him. And any hesitation in that ring against Deontay Wilder and his lights out. That's just what I see from Dillian White. It would be interesting to see if it would be a Showtime pay-per-view or a DAZN event. Yeah, politics. You know, Dillian White is one of those. You know, he's not really locked into a deal type thing. It's like almost fight by fight basis with him. You know, they get last bitten on his fights, but remember, we've seen him walk across the street before. Wouldn't mind seeing it again. DJ Zion Love says, "Yo, let him fight Ortiz. That's the fight I want right there. That's the fight I want right there." We talked about that last night. If I had to take my pick on any fight, if it was Main Man's wish list, it would be Luis Ortiz. It'd be Luis King Kong Ortiz. And I don't think that Dillian White will go near Luis King Kong Ortiz. But I'm dying to see how he's going to avoid him if it becomes a process of elimination. If, like we said last night, if Deontay Wilder chooses Ruiz, if he does go in that direction, and let's just say that Joshua and Fury bring it together, Usyk and Joyce brings it together, well, that leaves one name, Luis Ortiz. And I'm sure the WBC would embrace that with the quickness. But then again, who knows? But I'd love to see, given the fact that they never made it happen back in the day, I'd love to see that fight. Luis Ortiz and Dillian White definitely is a bomb burner. I'm sure Eddie Hearn might got his eye. Because Luis Ortiz has said it plenty of times before. He'll walk off cards. He'll walk out his deal. He'll buck PBC. He'll buck Showtime. He'll buck anybody affiliated with. He'll walk over there and sign a deal with Eddie Hearn. I have never seen a fighter literally say, I would come over there and sign a deal with the same promoter that screwed me when I was signed to him at Once Upon a Time. And I'm willing to sign another deal with him just to fight you. That's what Luis Ortiz said. Those are not Main Man's words. Those are Luis Ortiz's. He even bucked his own corner. He even bucked his own trainer. Everyone suggested against it. And he said, screw everybody. It's about me and my kid, and I want Dillian White. Those are just the facts, fam. That's not Main Man. Look it up for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Real spill. Real spill. Wilder versus White, Joshua versus Fury, and the winner in boxers can fight. Sound good, but of course, we all pulling for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, but if not, I just looking at what PBC doing with Andy Ruiz right now, man, it's just, the writing should be clearly on the wall. But you know what? I mean, and one other thing I was thinking about when it comes to Andy Ruiz and this Areola pay-per-view, I was because, we all reckon our minds like, yo, why they charging us for this fight? $49 for Chris Areola and Andy Ruiz. And it's leading to people thinking that PBC is broke. As a matter of fact, let's deal with that real quick because I never spoke on that. So let's speak on that just for a brief second. Hold on, Dillian White. We're going to give you a pause just for a second. Let's go to this real quick. Now, a lot of, with the Andy Ruiz and Chris Areola stuff, and they see the pay-per-views, and we seen pay-per-views around the holiday season, you know what I mean, during this crazy time in the world, and people like, yo, why are we being charged for pay-per-views right now from PBC? Then I see one or two little articles floating around. It's been like the only one or two little articles floating around about this subject for a while, about the fact that maybe, just maybe, PBC could be going broke. They see the Andy Ruiz Areola thing. Yeah, like, yo, they charge him because they can't afford to pay him. I disagree with that, fam. I disagree with that. In Andy Ruiz's situation, I think the reason that he's on pay-per-view was the same reason that Eddie Hearn, when he offered Andy Ruiz a fight for Dillian White, what did he offer him? He offered him $5 million, right? It's a lot of money for Andy Ruiz, which means that Andy has some sort of value somewhere. If I got a promoter from across the water offering $5 million for Andy, then there's something there. There's some value there. And they want to keep his value high, which means they can't pay him peanuts for someone to come around and say, oh, we can top PBC. What are they offering you, $2 million, Andy? So they know his value is high. Of course, with everything going on with the Latin community right now, they fired up, ready to go, all kind of fights. They're keeping Andy hot. They were not going to send Andy over to Eddie Hearn, unfortunately, at that time. So Eddie can take the last little bit of prestige off of Andy Ruiz. And that's why Eddie was willing to pay $5 million. The same reason that he was willing to pay money like that for Charles Martin. See, it worked in the Martin case. He took Martin across the water, got his belt off him, took his prestige and sent them back to PBC. PBC is stuck with Charles Martin, beltless, lunching out of his mind. And he tripping. So now that's what they was left with Charles Martin. You think that they were going to do the same thing? You think that they were going to do the same thing with, what's the name? Hold on for 1 second, fam. My dog looked like he just did something real sneaky. Sorry about that, fam. I got distracted by my dog walking around right now. He did something real sneaky just now. And we're going to see what's up with that. But anyway, yeah, that's what they did with Charles Martin, though, y'all. That's what they did with Charles Martin. And so at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? PBC wasn't going to allow them to do that to Andy. So back to this. Now, people thinking PBC broke. Why? I have no idea, like I said, because PBC now is operating under a totally different model. They're operating under the model now where they are getting money from the networks. So when people thought that they were going broke back in the day, I kind of understood how people was feeling because they got a big infusion of like $500 million in cash, and they were buying up all of these time slots on all of these networks and giving these fighters these big purses and putting that match up against that and paying all of this money, raising the prices of all of their fighters so no one can come and pluck them off. People didn't even see the strategy in that. And now, at that point, they were paying out money. And then we hear and I got this from Forbes, and I quote, terms of Fox's deal with PBC, the Fox deal with Premier Boxing Champions wasn't disclosed. Typically, right fees are determined on a per-fight basis according to the people familiar with the matter. A fight between two highly ranked contenders commands as much as $5 million, while contests of lesser-known fighters can be priced significantly lower. The annual rights fees could reach more than $50 million with people familiar with the deal, end quote. And that's just Fox. Word is they signed over $100 million deal with Fox, right? That's just Fox. So if Fox willing to give them up to possibly $5 million for a highly ranked in rights or in right fees, if they was to give them for $5 million, they tell them, hey, we got Sean Porter, versus Sebastian Famella, right? Pay Sean Porter 2, give Famella 1. We got 2 left to play. This is coming from Fox. This is not PBC going into some secret door saying, oh, we got some cash on the low that we just spending for. This is them now receiving money from a network. So when boxing fans feel like, yo, well, PBC is doing too much pay-per-views and, oh, they must be going broke. No, it's not PBC who would be going broke if you feeling some crunch. It's the network. It's Fox, the ones that kick the money out. That's where the problem is lying, not PBC. You see what I'm saying? Same way with HBO. Didn't HBO close their doors? Well, Top Rank kept going. Last I checked, Top Rank over on ESPN. It ain't the outfit that's hurting in this situation. It's the network that's giving the money to PBC. Now, what they do with it is on them. If they making some returns, that's on them. But people saying, oh, PBC is broke. No, PBC has raised the prices of their fighters. And they have fighters with tremendous value. And they can't let their fighters' values dip, because if they do, those fighters can be plucked off from other people. So for people who think PBC broke, I think y'all tripping. You know what I'm saying? All day. You know what I'm saying? All day. And I'm going to leave that at that. So I don't think that PBC is going broke. If things don't work out, and then they got 2 network deals going on right now, Fox and Showtime. If my thing is, and I'm not like for PBC or none of that stuff. I'm just calling it for what it is. People thinking they going broke. I don't think that's the case. Now, are they being greedy? Possibly. I don't, you give me one boxing outfit that ain't greedy. Are they being greedy? Sure. Could Fox be hurting in the ratings department, and they be looking at their bottom line like, do we want to still mess around with boxing? Sure. But that don't mean that PBC is going broke. That means that just PBC will find a new home if they continue to do, fights on television or if things like that. It works that way. That's the fight game. Now, it could be greed. It could be greed. Or they just see values in their fight. But I think at the end of the day, they really don't want the value of their fighters to fall. That's why Showtime Sean Porter can run around and say, give me $3 million. Because PBC kept his price high for years, when any other promoter would have been like, Sean Porter can't fill a family dinner. We ain't paying him nothing. But other entities are forced to listen to Sean Porter because his past purses, well, they've been jacked up by PBC. So if you want them, you're going to have to pay for them. And it's the same thing with Andy. And right now, they can't put Andy on regular TV because Andy is not a $2 million fighter no more. Eddie Hearn telling you that. The market is telling you that. The market is telling you he worth 5 off the jump. And that ain't probably counting all the extra bells and whistles. You see? That's how it works in the boxing business, man. It's crazy like that. Let's keep it pushing to something else, though, man. This is too business-like. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. Let's see what we got next up on this. Let's see here. I don't want to do that just yet. I don't want to do that one just yet. Let's do this one right here, fam. Word on the curb. I know y'all done seen this, man. Oscar De La Hoya coming back, talking about July 3rd, announcing this on Triller at the what's the dude name, man? Logan Paul, whatever, at their little press conference that they had on Triller. Well, we got Oscar De La Hoya walking out from backstage. July 3rd, I'm making my comeback. De La Hoya confirmed the news while making a cameo appearance during a Triller Fight Press Club press conference Friday afternoon in Las Vegas to otherwise discuss the April 17th pay-per-view. Okay, show headlined by Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Jake Paul. All right, that's what it is. So Oscar talking about coming back, fam. How y'all feeling about this, man? How y'all feeling about this? Jaquavius Moore says, I want to see Martin versus White. You like Martin versus White? I think that's a decent fight. I think Martin can't take that rush that White gonna bring him, though. I don't see Martin feet being fast enough, and I don't see him punching fast enough, man. I think that's the type of opponent that I think Dillian White rushes. I think he rushes Charles Martin and see how he deals with it. But, hey, something to see. Charles Martin is a decent name. I think Charles Martin will take it. How do you guys know so much about the business side of boxing? It's called, read the homework. Got to do our homework, bro. I don't feel right getting up on here unless I do my homework. And that's just the facts. I'm not going to get up on here and spit a bunch of BS, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean? Y'all don't see the sausage making that go on behind the scenes, but it takes a lot of homework, you know what I'm saying? And, of course, if you know somebody that knows somebody. Porter put in a lot of work. He's not afraid to fight the best. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight again. We going to get there, Mike. We definitely going to be talking about Showtime Shawn Porter real soon, you know what I mean? He definitely fights the best. I'm going to take that nothing away from him. And he gives valiant efforts. And that's why I say from a boxing fan standpoint, inside that ring, got a lot of love for Shawn Porter. We'll never dish Showtime Shawn Porter. Outside the ring, I'm looking at him as Rev Porter. He is the Reverend Porter. We're going to get to that a little bit. Matter of fact, we're going to get to that real soon. But outside the ring, I see what he's doing. You know what I mean? But inside the ring, nothing but love and respect for that man. But Oscar De La Hoya talking about coming back, man. So who the hell do we want to see Oscar De La Hoya fight? The one thing that's kind of getting my attention about this is why Triller? I thought Oscar De La Hoya was down with DAZN. And most importantly, how does DAZN, an actual app, feel about him going on another app and announcing that he gonna fight on that app? That's all I'm saying. D-Lo 44 Boxing in the building. What's up, fam? What's going on, man? Now, I don't know if Oscar BSing. He could be just playing around and doing some publicity stunts. I don't know. I'm wondering how he gonna make that happen without pissing off the suits over at DAZN. I mean, Oscar coming back. I mean, that's gonna be some sort of attention-grabbing event within itself. And I would think that DAZN will want to have that attention-grabbing event and not help out the competition. But Oscar says he coming back. July 3rd, this is, I guess, what Teofimo Lopez was telling everybody, got a little bit of truth to it. Teofimo told us weeks ago that on his card, it wasn't going to be Mike Tyson. It was going to be Oscar De La Hoya. That's what Teo said. And then he backed off and he was like, at first it was, then it wasn't, and it was on again, it was off again. And so we don't really know how this real talk. But the way they rolled this out, him walking all out, dropping the mic, did a mic drop moment, Snoop Dogg right there. I mean, I would think that took some serious planning. Or he had to check with some folks in order to check, to make sure that this was real talk. But Oscar De La Hoya coming back. Y'all see I got him right here in the picture with Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. because he's coming back too, right? He's got a fight coming up too. Two of Mexican boxing's top legends coming back, demanding the crowd, demanding some attention. Now, I don't know if Oscar was doing this as a feeler to see what how the boxing world was going to take this, but I mean, at the end of the day, who we want to see him fight? Oscar De La Hoya versus Sergio Martinez. Sergio's still fighting. Oscar De La Hoya versus Sergio Martinez. Do they make that happen? Harold Trim says, yo, main man, Canelo was 85% of Golden Boy's budget. That's facts. So you see Oscar stepping down now, having to replace that money, having to find that money, having to make up that revenue. And the only name that comes to mind for Oscar, given that young Ryan and Virgil ain't ready right now, is himself. Oscar versus Sergio Martinez. Of course, the number one opponent for Oscar will be Floyd Mayweather Jr., right? Floyd Mayweather Jr. It says that the details of the event, including the location and an opponent, have yet to be revealed as this goes to publish. Nor has it been determined whether it will be sanctioned fight or an exhibition. The fight will headline a pre-4th of July pay-per-view event as part of the Triller Fight Club series. So it hasn't, still some rules that got to be laid down about if this is going to happen or not. But like I said, man, Sergio Martinez, but Floyd Mayweather would be, I guess, the number one target that Oscar would love to get, right? Now, I told people before, that is something that I'm not against. I don't care what nobody say. I ain't against that. Why? Because it helps out the younger crop of fighters. An event between Oscar and Floyd would be humongous. Now, I hear Floyd talking about fighting the other Paul brother, right? I don't know. But if he could have lured Floyd and they could have put Tank and Ryan on the undercards, what they would have done for those young fighters, even Virgil, all the young fighters that they trying to put a spotlight to, that would have been the best promotional tool for any of their young fighters. Whether it would have been the TMT fighters, whether it have been Golden Boy fighters, whoever. An event like that they would literally be legendary promoters after that. They can literally bring it together and say it's an exhibition. And I mean, real talk. They can come together and say, you know what, Mr. Mayweather, it won't be a blemish on your perfect record or whatever the case may be. It won't be a blemish. It'll be an exhibition like you did with little Toyota Corolla or whatever his name was. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an exhibition just like that. And, yo, we're going to give all the shine in the world to Tank, Ryan, Virgil, all of our kids. I'd support that. I'd support that. Do I see anything like that happening? Probably not. That's just too much like right. It just makes too much sense. But I'm dying to see what the motive is here. And I'm dying to see how DAZN takes this. That's just very... You mean to tell me Oscar's fighters are exclusively signed to fight to DAZN, but Oscar ain't? All right. That might be the case. That might be the case. That might be the case. D-Lo says, yo, man, Porter comes to fight for sure. Not the easiest to watch at times, but I respect the determination and work ethic. Absolutely. Absolutely. I respect his work ethic. I respect all of that, man. But, you know, Sean Porter's problem, and I heard him talking about this recently too, man. Sean, we're going to get to this. I don't mean to skip subjects, but I think one of his main issues was the fact that he's been a welterweight for so long. Remember, he came down in weight. And I'm listening to Sean Porter talk now, and he's talking about how he wants to get all of this muscle back, and he wants to, you know, he lost a lot of muscle from coming down in weight from 54 or 55 and coming down to 47. And he felt as though a lot of his power had zapped after that. I wonder. He been at 47 so long. He was getting stoppages on the lower tier, but them stoppages are gone. It's just, you know, I always wonder. Him going down to 47, did that ever hinder that? But back to this. So Oscar, we'll see, man. We'll see if this helps him. We'll see if this replaces some of the money he lost from Canelo. Canelo being 85% of Golden Boy's revenue. Well, Oscar's got to make that up somehow, some way, then, don't he? You know, that's a lot of money Oscar let walk out the door. You know what I'm saying? Virgil ain't ready. Ryan ain't ready. You know, so it's Oscar that gonna have to take it out and suit up. Glove up, Oscar. Glove up. Let's see what you got, man. Let's see what you got. But I wouldn't mind seeing Oscar versus... I heard Gennady Golovkin got, X'd off the list somehow, some way. I wouldn't have mind seeing Gennady Golovkin, and I think Oscar would have got his ass beat, man. You know what I'm saying? Do I think Oscar going to be competitive at all? No, man. His best days are behind him, man. But in this situation, he ain't got to be. He can literally just be a promoter and promote his fighters by him fighting and putting them on the under. But if he do it on Triller, they can't fight. I just thought about that. If Oscar fights on Triller, none of his fighters can fight on the undercard. Damn. Because they all exclusively to fight on DAZN. If Oscar fights on Triller, none of his fighters can fight on the undercard, which means it does nothing for his fighters, which means that this is just a money grab for Oscar. That's interesting. That's interesting. Chavez is fighting little Macho Camacho. Yeah, man. Chavez coming back. And I always tell people, man, that's one thing about Chavez, man. Chavez. I used to think that Chavez, the father, had a thing about his son looking all bad out here and looking stinking up the joint and stinking up their name and their legacy. I disagree. Chavez Jr. just like Chavez Sr. just like Mike Tyson. He don't mind it. I'm telling you, he's down for making money off of the Chavez name. The thing with Chavez, just like most fighters should do, he's making money off of his own name. He don't mind his son doing it, and he's giving him opportunity after opportunity to keep using it, and he don't mind himself doing it. That's what happens when you have such a humongous and strong and powerful legacy. It can continue to work for you after the sport of boxing. That's why Oscar can come back. That's why Chavez can come back. That's what we be telling these fighters, to go after the best, because your legacy is what is going to sustain you after boxing. People are going to want to still talk to you. People are still going to want to see you. People are going to hire you for this event, that event, this event. You can then go on and do your own thing, your own shows. Your name going to be so heavy. You can do a promotional company with your name on the front. That's what legacy do. If anybody ever wondered what's the purpose of legacy, when I hear these fighters like Earl say, yo, my kids can't eat belts. My kids can't eat belts. I ain't saying not to get your money. I'm just saying legacy matters. And you don't know how things are going to go after the lights go out. It's legacy that normally sustains a lot of fighters who ain't got no hope at this point. That's why these fighters can come back and do what they do. That's why Floyd can still come back and do what he do. That's why Mike Tyson can still come back and do what he do. Because they built their names and they built their legacies. And who the hell are we to tell that these men who built legacies to not come back and fight again if they want to and make millions doing it off their name? If Oscar want to do it, so be it. I would like to see him help his fighters. That's all it is. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to the next one, man. To the next one. Salute to the fam. Hit that thumbs up for me as y'all pulling on in, man. Thumbs up for the homie. Next one. Juan Francisco Estrada. Y'all heard the news. My main man coming off that big win, beating Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Turns out, the news out being reported, it says that the WBC will now issue a franchise belt to my main man, Juan Gallo Francisco Estrada. How many names is that? I'm all over the place. Is it Gallo Juan Francisco Estrada? Well, all right, it is what it is. My man got a new WBC franchise belt. It says that the WBC will do a super flyweight tournament. The WBC Super Fly Tournament, which will provide the necessary structure for the WBC Super Flyweight division and will give boxing fans around the world a series of great upcoming events. And it said that, Juan Estrada, by him being elevated to WBC franchise champion, the vacant WBC belt would now go into a fight with Sor Rungvisai and Carlos Cuadras. A rematch, if you will. We know Carlos Cuadras already beat Sor Rungvisai back in the day. And so this basically clears the way for Juan Estrada to go back into a third fight with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, because Sor Rungvisai was the mandatory. And he wanted his shot. So clearly the more popular fight, I'm sure some wrangling Eddie Hearn made a call or whatever the case may be, the more popular fight, of course, is Juan Estrada and Chocolatito 3. And they found a way to get it done. So now all four of these men will pretty much be squaring off in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? All of them should be squaring off in the tournament. It says, should both fights materialize, it will mark the 12th entry amongst the 115-pound division's version of the Fab Four. So, and then it says, Cisco Rat Sor Rungvisai shall fight Carlos Cuadras for the WBC Super Flyweight World Championship. Okay. So the winners of Estrada versus Gonzalez and Sor Rungvisai versus Cuadras fights shall fight each other to determine the sole WBC world champion of the super flyweight division. Now I'm gonna say this. It's like with this franchise belt, y'all. We gotta love it or hate it. We can't waffle. We can't on one hand be good with it in one situation, and then in the next hand be against it in the next situation. And I gotta stay equal about it. I don't like the fact that they got involved and put a WBC franchise belt in it, but it's like they kind of got me on this one. They got me real torn, because I always say, you chop up a fight between any of these four fighters, I don't care which way you like to go, you're going to get a damn good fight no matter how you cut it. Stylistically, they all mesh well. Action-packed, four kings of the division. So it's like, on one hand, I hate the WBC franchise, I really do. I don't like no belts with no mandatories and everybody else got to play by a totally different set of rules. I don't like that. A belt that has rules made up on the fly. They originally told us it couldn't be transferred, but I see Lomachenko transferring it to Teofimo Lopez. So I don't like this belt. I don't like your little funky belt. You dig? But I will say this. By all 4 of these fighters battling it out in a supposed tournament, it will determine who's the number 1 guy. Now, the way I see this, as it all lines up today, from all 4 of these guys, because they've already all fought each other, I got Juan Estrada in the number 1 spot. Juan Estrada is 1-1 with Chocolatito, 1-1 with Rungvisai, 2-0 against Carlos Cuadras. I got Rungvisai in second. Of course, he's 1-1 with Estrada, 2-0 against Chocolatito, and 0-1 against Cuadras. So that's another thing about this Cuadras fight. Yeah, so in the end of the day, it's hard to be mad about this because Sor Rungvisai getting his revenge. I remember that Cuadras fight. Cuadras used lateral movement, side to side, and he kept Sor Rungvisai confused. He was countering the hell out of Sor Rungvisai in that fight. Sor Rungvisai was trying to leap in and throw them combinations like he liked to do, and Cuadras was using lateral movement and countering ability, and that's how he beat him. It could be honestly said that stylistically, you gotta wonder, does Cuadras got Rungvisai's number? Because the way he beat him, I mean, it was a close fight. I remember the head clash in the end, and they had to go to the scorecards and all of that. And so, a lot of people thought that Sor Rungvisai was coming back on. But I don't know, man. I thought he was doing a good job, but that was a long time ago. That was a nice little while ago. What was that, back in 14, 15 somewhere? That was a while ago. I mean, it's like he got to get his revenge against Carlos Cuadras. He's going for a world title. And these two at the top, Chocolatito and Roman Gonzalez, well, we already know what we're going to get right there. These two dudes are 1-1. So it's like on one hand, damn, WBC, you got us good with this one. You got us real good with this one. It seems bad on one hand to complain about this. But then again, if we don't, we're going to have to just accept the WBC franchise champion. The winner of this whole situation will be a top pound-for-pound fighter. Without a doubt, in my opinion. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Mike says, yo, man, usually when you fight top competitions, the knockouts go down. But if you keep fighting Walmart employees, the knockouts will keep, but you might get dropped in one of them. Yeah, but that's true. That's true. But I don't know no fighters that we normally talk about that fought a bunch of Walmart employees. I don't know who you could be talking about, Mike. I have no idea who you could be talking about. D-Lo says, yo, man, not another one of them dreaded franchise trophies. Facts. Another franchise trinket. Then going into this situation, fully respected fighters right here. All of these fighters right here are well respected. So I don't know, man. I just wish they could have just did it the regular way. They still could have lined everything up, you know what I'm saying, using the regular belts as is, or the regular situation as is. I know Sor Rungvisai wanted his shot, and he was the mandatory, and he could have shut down Chocolatito versus Estrada. But at the end of the day, man, they should have just, sometimes you got to let the natural order things play out. If Estrada would have beat Sor Rungvisai, he would have been back to Chocolatito. Now, Chocolatito, I guess he probably don't want to fight Cuadras because he's already beat Cuadras. I don't know, man. It's just, I hate this franchise thing just rubbed me the wrong way. But at the end of the day, minus that situation, bruh, I gotta admit, man, like this tournament, I'm turned up for it. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all. Main man franchise belt is complete BS. Why doesn't the best fight the best not work? I'm with you, fam. They could have done this through the rankings. I wish I'd have had the rankings pulled up right now. They probably could have done this through the rankings, man. They didn't have to introduce that. But they did it to shut down Sor Rungvisai. They did it to shut him down because he wanted his shot against Juan Estrada, and he was the mandatory. And he stepped out of the way to allow the Chocolatito fight to go on. So he was determined to get that Estrada fight. Clearly, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and every entity involved in this saw the profit margin in this fight, as opposed to that Sor Rungvisai. And Sor Rungvisai can get in the mix and mess everything up when it comes to Chocolatito and Estrada. Clearly, that's the fight that they wanted to save. Clearly, that's the fight that they wanted to say. They may look at Chocolatito and say, you know what, we don't know if how much he got left in him. We just can't take the risk. We can't take the risk to let him go on out there and fight someone else, get beat, and ruin everything with him in Estrada. No one's going to want to see it then. So they figured out a way to get it done faster. I don't know. White should go after Bryant next, then Usyk. Trevor Bryant? I like the yeah, you know what? Dillian White versus Trevor Bryant. I like that, man. Don King would definitely do business with Eddie Hearn. But Trevor Bryant just won that WBA regular. The only issue with that is that everybody playing position. Does Don King move Trevor Bryant out of that towards Dillian White and risk losing that WBA slot, that spot that he's in, maybe right on Anthony Joshua's heels? I'd like to see that fight. I'm down for that. I'm down for Brian Genesis versus Dillian White. I'm definitely down for that. You ain't never lie, Harold. One of the dogs gonna get the franchise belt next, man. That's the worst belt in boxing, bro. A made up belt that had rules changed on the fly, has no mandatory. I ain't with it. So at the end of the day, man, I'm torn in the middle with this situation. I don't like the franchise belt, but I do like these fights. I like all of these fights. I'm down for this tournament. I really wish they could have done it the traditional way, through the rankings and stuff like that, and lined it all up that way. But unfortunately, that's today's boxing, man. They got to try to take shortcuts, you know what I'm saying, and make rules up on the fly. White versus Usyk is a good match. They are both on the cusp of a title shot. Yeah, but Usyk can't move forward without getting past Joe Joyce, man. Like, with them two having history since the amateurs together, man, and Joe Joyce being on the heels of Usyk the way he is, at this point, Usyk, I don't think he can turn back from Joyce, man, unless just the whole deal fall apart. Unless Frank Warren or they can't get it done or whatever the case may be. But at this point, this dude is a rival. This is not some out of the blue guy calling out Oleksandr. This is Joe Joyce, somebody who want to get a revenge shot against Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk got to answer that call now. I think Usyk got to answer that call. So before Usyk gets towards White, why can't White get the winner of that? White get the winner of Joyce and Usyk if it go down? For sure. I like that. Mike 202 in the building. What's up, family? DMV on deck. You all ready? You know what I'm saying? What's up with you, man? Salute to you, man. I hope you had a cool ass weekend, man. Salute to the fam, man. Salute to everybody, man. So we're going to move on to the next one, man. Let's go on to the next story before we get to that main one that I know everybody wants to hear. All right, y'all. Let me wipe this off. Hold on. Where we at? Let me wipe this on off, because we got a couple more stories that we want to get to. So let's see. Let's do this real quick, man. Let's do this. I know y'all caught Teofimo Lopez Sr. Caught him in an interview. I think he was at one of these Triller events or whatnot. And I think he was at that press conference and they caught him on the back end. And I was listening to what he was saying. And these are a couple of the quotes that we're going to kind of deal with right here off the jump. And what he said was very, very, very interesting. And he came with it from a different angle. And clearly they must have definitely thought about this. They heard cats like Main Man, Made Man all day speak on this, because we put this out there about the Mikey Garcia situation and how this can play out against guys like Teofimo Lopez and Terrence Bud Crawford. We put that out there, and I'm glad that reached to high heights, because I'm listening to him address this situation, and it's a smart strategy what he's saying. I don't know if it works in his favor, but it's very, very smart. So they asking him, by him going back to Top Rank after this whole Triller situation, Teofimo Lopez going back to Top Rank, do they think the same thing is going to happen to them that happened to Mikey Garcia? And that is a risk of being shelved. Remember what Mikey told everybody? When he stopped playing ball with Bob Arum, he got put on his shelf. He got his title stripped away from him. He got thrown into a court case. And, given that they took that title away from him, that was the way that he got out of that situation. So they're looking at it like, are you going to be in a situation like that? And he says no. And I quote right here, we are not no Mikey Garcia. He goes on, he says that, and I don't have that quote up. Oh, yes, I do. He says that Mikey didn't have 4 belts. And we got mandatories. Let me stop right there. Mikey couldn't fight because the WBO was waiting for them to name an opponent for Mikey Garcia. This is the problem. And Bob Arum and Top Rank never found that opponent, which the sanctioning body then comes along and say, due to your inactivity, we're going to strip you of your belt. So in Teo's case, according to the father, they have a deal where they're supposed to fight 3 times per year. Now, I'm sure Mikey has something similar to that in his contract as well. The difference between them and Mikey had 1 belt. They got all the belts. So if the WBO, who takes orders from Top Rank, and we all know this, but it ain't just the WBO in this situation. We got the BC. He got the franchise BC, so there's no mandatory there, right? He got the BA Super. Oops, no mandatory there. But he has the IBF. There's a mandatory. And he has the WBO, which I believe that Top Rank can control, just like they did against Mikey. So he may get the mandatory wiped off. That's 3 sanctioning bodies that may be without a mandatory. I'm going to run that back down for the people who didn't hear that. WBA Super Champion doesn't have a mandatory. This when the WBA see fits, or either in 18 months, right? He has the WBA franchise. There's no mandatory there. Remember, the WBA franchise has no mandatories. And the WBO is controlled by Top Rank. So remember what you're saying, Senior. Remember what you're saying. You got the IBF, brother. That's will be the one sanctioning body I think you can depend on that will come around and say, we got a mandatory challenger and we need this fight done now. I don't think Top Rank can stop nothing like that. I don't think Top Rank got that type of influence over Mr. Peebles and them. But we'll see. But he says Mikey didn't have 4 belts. We got mandatories. As to say, if Bob don't want to find us no one to fight, then we'll just do this. Now, here's another interesting one. We ain't fighting with Top Rank no more unless it's on pay-per-view. Now, that's just crap talk. I hear him. I mean, look, man, hey, standing up to Top Rank, I love it. As a boxing fan, I'm down to see the fighter win. But that's a tough position right there, bro. If your son ain't proven to be a draw, I don't know. That's some real tough. We ain't fighting with Top Rank no more unless it's pay-per-view. How, Bob? That's a threat. Bob gonna look at that as a threat. Y'all heard what Bob said. If he don't come over here, if he go over there to Triller, start losing his mind, thinking that he gonna make the same thing when he come back, then guess what? I guess we just won't have a fight for you. This is coming to almost an ugly conclusion. How is this gonna end? When they come back, is all of this tough talk gonna end? Because I hear what the father is saying. But what is Teo saying? Teo saying, look, man, no ill wills towards Top Rank, nothing personal by me going over here to Triller. Everybody's quiet. We doing our thing. Top Rank is happy. They collected $800,000 in 5 minutes. Teo also indicated in this interview that I pulled these quotes from, that if it came down to it, I think this was over on Fight Hub, if it came down to it, he will promote himself. If he got to approach ESPN to say, hey, we'll just promote ourselves type thing, and y'all just put up the money, it's the takeover, that'll be some balls, man. That'll be some balls, Joe. To go around Bob's back to ESPN and say, hey, just cut, Bob say, I got a 3-year contract on you, man. I got a 3-year contract, 3.5 to be honest, to be exact. I got a 3.5-year contract left with you. You're going to do what I tell you to do when you come back here. Teo is alluding to the fact that he'll go to ESPN around Bob and just promote himself. This is going to come to an ugly thing. If they either this is just tough talk and they saving face to the public, or this is because I don't see Bob Arum, especially with these words floating around here out in the public, you telling them what he better do. I don't see this ending pretty. I don't see this ending pretty, fam. Let me see what y'all talking about, man. All the paper, Mike 202 says, yo, all the pay-per-view fights will go to purse bid now for Teo. Bob is not paying for it. Yeah? Bob ain't paying for it, bro. They going to purse bid. But I mean, look, man, he got $6 million out the free market once. I don't know if it happens again. Triller talking about they putting on 8 events this year. Triller saying that they putting on 8 events this year. Will they get back into the Teofimo Lopez business? That's the question. Y'all see the move that they just put over? Triller just hired, what's the guy? Peter Khan. He just hired Peter Khan, George Camboso's manager, and manager to other fighters. Peter Khan is like their boxing guy now over there at Triller. Peter Khan has also got a lot of attachments to MTK Global. I'll do that video in the future. But at the end of the day, you know, we'll see. Teo might gotta give MTK Global a call. I don't know. That's all I'm saying, man. It's gonna take a strong entity to help Teo out. Teo going around Bob Arum's back to go to ESPN, don't see it. The deal lies with Top Rank, and your contract lies with Top Rank. That's a problem. I get it. You may want to do your own co-promotional thing, but you're gonna have to get out of that Top Rank situation. Bob ain't gonna just let you walk out. I appreciate, but I gotta say, I respect his position. And I respect the fact that I wish he would have bossed up like this after maybe the Triller numbers came in. At least have a track record. Don't just walk over there to say, yo, you're going to put me on pay-per-view all because I'm Teofimo Lopez and I beat Vasyl Lomachenko. As much as I love Teo and he is the king, that ain't enough to say that you only going to fight on pay-per-view. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. Because like these business-minded Spence fans always talk about, you do got to draw. You do got to have a track record. And I'm sure y'all going to bring that back up later. But you do got to have a track record. You know what I'm saying? And your track record is just Lomachenko. And I mean, unless you can sit down with Bob and you know the numbers that, hey, I'm the number one draw, I'm the number one seller, then you can make a statement like that. Come back from Triller with your numbers. Hey, over on Triller, this is what we did. I'm known out here, man. I'm known. So now I only want to fight on pay-per-view. But you see these numbers I did? If you don't want me to fight on pay-per-view, somebody else will want me. That's when you can boss up. Get the track record first. Promoters don't look at belts as a reason to put you on pay-per-view. That's just the facts of the matter. They look at your bottom line. When you threatening them with a pay-per-view, your belts are just not enough. As much as I respect, as a boxing fan, do I say he deserves it? Sure. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't looking at the numbers. I don't have a promotional company. I just sit at home and watch you fight. And to a promoter, it's going to take more than just belts. But I hope he wins the good fight, and I'm rooting for Teofimo Lopez in his fight against Top Rank all day. You dig? I mean, at the end of the day, with Teofimo Lopez, it also confuses me because on one hand, him and his father, which his father is more of a loose cannon than he is, but him and his father on one hand would be, well, they're going to have to do this and they're going to have to do that, or we'll leave, or we'll do this, or we'll promote ourselves, or we'll do that. But then on the other hand, when they ask you who you going to fight, the first thing that comes out of Teofimo Lopez's mouth was, I want the winner of Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez. I'm an undisputed champion versus another. Makes sense to me, but you can't have it both ways. And this is what makes me go, are they just doing tough talk while they sitting over there on Triller? And then once this George Camboso's fight is over, it's going to come back on over there and we'll be like, whatever Bob want to do, whatever Bob want to do. We ain't got no problems. I have no problems with Bob. We'll see, Teo. Fight the good fight, bro. Fight the good fight. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. He ain't fighting with Top Rank unless he going to fight on pay-per-view. Sound good. Sound good. IBF will make you fight your mandatory, says Mike 202. Facts. That's the best thing that's the best hope that Teofimo Lopez to me will have. I think everything else can be slowed down. And then if Teofimo Sr. is just depending on mandatories, you better look at the landscape and look at the belts your son got. You speaking like your son has the regular WBC. You're speaking like your son has the regular WBA. That ain't what he got. He got super belts that have no mandatories. You know what I'm saying? All day. And if you don't think Bob Arum know that, you fooling yourself. You know what I'm saying? Mike says, I think that Bob will have the last laugh all day. He knows this. He knows there's one sanction. You're going to have one fight. You're going to sit around and keep on waiting around till that IBF mandatory come around. You're going to wait 18 months for the WBA mandatory to come around. What you going to do? WBO, I'll tell them to shut it down. I'm just saying. Main man, somehow Loma will become the mandatory for Teo real soon. You think so, Harold Trim? I hope not, man. I'm not in a hurry to see that right now. The reason being, and a lot of people may say, yeah, it's a good fight and Loma was coming on. Reason being, because I know that if Lomachenko would have won, he wouldn't have nowhere near went back towards Teofimo Lopez. I mean, we ain't stupid. I don't think that nowhere near that he would have done it. So, no, I think Teofimo was just, if he did what he had to do that night. He beat the man that beat the man, and Lomachenko was supposed to be the man. Wiped them out. It is what it is. Fight your way back up, bro. I love Lomachenko, good talent. We'll see what he got left in the tank. Or how about him call out Gary Russell Jr.? How about he call out Gary Russell Jr.? So I think that's it until we get down to the main apple scrapple here. Make sure that I covered it all. I think we good, man. So let's get. Oh, one last thing. I know. One last thing, and we're gonna get to this Spence and Crawford talk. One last thing, and that is this. To the UK. Did y'all see this kid? I don't know if y'all caught this, man. Did y'all see Ricky Hatton's kid make his pro debut? That ain't Ricky Hatton. That's his kid, Campbell Hatton. We're gonna spend a half a minute on this. Look awful. Look terrible. But he had his pro debut. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know how it is when the kids of these former top-notch fighters, they come through, they get every door open for them. You know what I'm saying? They get all of this special attention. People hoping they're going to get a small, remember of their father or whoever the case may be. Like, you ain't getting that. And with this kid, did y'all see him? Campbell Hatton debuted, man. No chance. It's going to take 10 years to get this kid right, man. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to have every door open for him. You see him debuting on the Eddie Hearn card. At the end of the day, they're going to have a long way to work with this kid. A long way to go. Footwork looked terrible. He punches with his hands down. Shows that he's got some decent power. He has no amateur career. They say he's been like star-studded and surrounded by cameras and constantly interviewed and treated like a star. And his debut was like, it was jive trash. You know what I'm saying? So he pulled it out. They gave him the win. But yo, UK, I mean, all of the hype that came out about this kid, I mean, UK, he ain't gonna. He got a long way to go. Long way. He should have went through the amateur circuit. Should have stayed in the amateurs a little longer. Fundamentals are crap. Pop's gonna have to work with him. Matthew Hatton gonna have to work with him. Fundamentals are crap. I had at least thought he inherited some of his father's talent. I guess I was wrong, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I kept my eye on him, and I seen this pro debut. He could have did a lot better. His footwork his defense need work. His stamina. This kid is young. He was huffing and puffing by like 3 or 4 rounds. Stamina is terrible. No amateur career. Very little amateur career. This ain't gonna work. Better keep him away from the top floor. Keep him away from C-level fighters for now. Just keep him away from C-level fighters. That was a horrible performance. You know what I'm saying? And I thought they should have worked better with the kid, but I ain't gonna crap on him too much. It's just his first fight. You know what I'm saying? Much love to the fam, man. Much love to the fam. The Troll Slayer, Mr. Shelton. What's up, man? Hell, Ricky Hatton ain't shit. Facts, bro. Facts, man. You ain't never lied, bro. You know what I mean? So, but you would think that maybe one of the Hattons pick up some gene. You know, Matthew Hatton wasn't shit either. You know what I'm saying? You would think that one of them would have picked it up, man. But it ain't going to Campbell, y'all. At least I don't see it no time soon. So let's get to the good stuff. We got the fam all up in this joint. So, fam, that's what I'm going to do. All right, now I'm doing We Talking Boxing here, right? So y'all know when I get up on here and I do We Talking Boxing, I try to keep it clean. I try not to do the crap talk. You know what I mean? I try to save that for the throughout the week live streams. But let me pull up my artwork here. I know I got pictures of Bud and Earl all over the place. So we're going to talk about these brothers for a second, man. But we're going to do something a little different here. because we talking boxing. So hold on, let me find Earl real quick. I know I got a picture of Earl somewhere around here, man. There's one. All right. If I ain't got pictures of nobody, I got pictures of these two fighters, right? So what we gonna do? Because I've been getting hit up and I see the news that just came out about Earl Spence. I didn't get a chance to cover it, about Earl Spence saying that about news coming out about Earl and Yordenis Ugas sitting down and talking about working on the deal for the summertime, and I didn't talk about all that. So what I want to do is just bring everybody totally up to speed, and we're going to do a realistic, I repeat, realistic presentation here. All right, it ain't about dogging no fighter. It ain't about dogging one over the other, at least not for the night. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give a realistic picture tonight of exactly what these two fighters are facing. Because guess what, man? Look at Dino. Hey, yo, Dino. Oh, yo, man, we're going to do this, bro. We're going to do this. Guess what, man? This is the biggest fight in boxing whenever it comes to fruition. People wondering why Terrence Crawford ain't fighting this guy. Who is he going to fight? I've had that question piled up on me more than any question in history. Who is he going to fight? Who is he? Y'all hitting me in the inbox, mademan511@gmail.com. Who is he going to fight? I checked the messages. I checked my comment. Who is he going to fight? So let's just see. Shall we? Let's just see. So let's deal with Earl first. Let's deal with Earl the Pearl. So let me take him down. Let's deal with Earl the Pearl first, because we on Earl's plan. Since we doing Earl's plan, we will start with Earl. All right, let me see. All right, right here. All right, Earl's plan. So first and foremost, we all know that Earl's plan first and foremost consists of this man, right? This is next on the agenda, allegedly, for Mr. Spence. And that is, I see y'all, fam. That is, salute to my brother, Renee Box Young, man. We're not going to do it like that, Mike. We're not going to do it like that. That is Yordenis Ugas, okay? Yordenis Ugas, WBA super champion, being elevated to WBA super champion. Earl Spence Jr. has decided that this will be his number one target. And I ain't mad at the brother. I ain't mad at him one bit. See, I told y'all, we on Earl's plan, and I'm going to have to, I guess, accept Earl's plan. And Earl's plan is to allow him to go do what he does, get his belts, get his money, whatever. He wants to go towards Yordenis Ugas. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a dynamic-ass fight. Beautiful fight. Beautiful opponent. Earl Spence can get a third belt. That is an amazing, amazing accomplishment. And he should go after a third belt. I think he should. Because it's his legacy at the end of the day. I always tell y'all that. It's not a fan's legacy, it's his legacy. He ain't gonna want to be sitting at home wondering why the hell he let the one opportunity for Undisputed walk out the door. So it's his legacy. Let him do what he do. So I can salute and congratulate Earl Spence Jr. for going towards Yordenis Ugas. So that's the most realistic situation next for Earl Spence. Yordenis Ugas fights for PBC, and so does Earl Spence Jr. So what's next? If we don't get Yordenis Ugas, what probably sits up next? The IBF mandatory. I wonder, how does this IBF mandatory, will it affect things? Because either if it's before Ugas or after Ugas, the IBF don't play, and they're going to want to do their mandatories. So as much as we thinking that it could be just one fight between these two, is it really two? Because this ain't gone nowhere. Akhmadoukarov, Quadrilio Akhmadoukarov. You know what I'm saying? And we know what the situation is with him. He's coming off a win recently a couple weeks ago. He's in the number one position in the IBF. Prior to Yordenis Ugas winning the WBA, being elevated, Earl Spence was headed this way. to his IBF mandatory. Then a bump got in the road when Ugas got elevated. This ain't gone nowhere yet, though. This ain't gone nowhere yet, though. Akhmadoukarov is still in the number one position. And now he was supposed to fight for the IBF interim title against Sergey Lipinets. But he couldn't make the fight because of his travel visa and stuff like that. And y'all know whenever we start hearing stories about travel visas, well, you got to wonder what did the promoter put the paperwork in. We've seen this happen recently with Don King and Cha. But anyway, he didn't make the Sergey Lipinets fight. So he didn't fight for the IBF interim title. However, Custio Clayton made that fight and gave a damn good effort. And they fought to a draw, so there was no movement there, but he's still in line. So let's just say if Earl doesn't fight Ugas next, if PBC has another plan for Ugas in the meantime, between time, Earl is going to go towards this IBF, and then he's going to have to still pivot around to Ugas. That's 2 fights. If it happens in that fashion. I want people to be in the know. All right. What's up? What's also on the plate? This guy. Sean Porter. Slick Sean Porter. Rev Porter is what they call him. Sean Porter versus Sebastian Famella, sanctioned for the WBC silver title. We know that Sean Porter beat Sebastian Famella, which means he holds that WBC silver title. You know, when they were reporting on that Sebastian Famella fight, this is how the reports came out. Porter is currently sitting in the number 1 position under the WBC welterweight rankings. A win over Famella could put him back into position for a world title shot against basically Errol Spence Jr. So we know by him fighting Sebastian Famella, that got him the WBA silver championship. One thing we do, what else do we know? Let's call it for what it is. Sean Porter made a trip to the WBC convention at the last one. And he had conversations. What those conversations went like, hey, your guess is better than mine. Now, Sean Porter says he wants Terence Crawford, but he got the WBC silver. Now, that chance may come a while. Between Ugas and the IBF mandatory, and keep in mind, Earl hasn't had an IBF mandatory since Carlos Ocampo back in 2019. But between those two, I don't know how long Sean going to wait, because Earl just fulfilled his mandatory with Danny Garcia. With the WB. But Sean is in position. And I noticed something. Time is just the clicking and 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 the clicking. Next thing you know, we're going to look up and it's August around this joint. And we're going to say, what is Sean Porter going to do? What? At that point, why should he do anything when he's in position for a world title shot on his side of the street? He's got commentating gigs coming up. I heard he's under the weather now. Oh, who said it? D-Lo, you said it. Yo, we don't want to hear that excuse, fam. That excuse coming. Oh, he was sick. He was sick. At the end of the day, time is clicking. We get past a certain mark. Sean ain't going to be looking towards Crawford no more. He going to be like, for what? Looking towards Crawford for what? Unless Mr. Spence comes to his senses and says, you know what, forget him. Because no one wants to see me do a rematch with him. I'm going to go over here and pivot towards Crawford because all of these sanctioning bodies will lay down for an undisputed fight between Crawford and Spence. So this is a long bet from Sean. This is a hard bet. It's a long bet. But it's a bet indeed. And this is the reason that he fought Sebastian Famella. And this is the reason that he's killing time. Let's keep it pushing. That's Sean Porter. I got a statement coming up from Sean Porter. We're going to listen to some audio real soon. Now, this is the one. Is this a possibility? Is this a possibility? This man right here. So if Earl realistically fights Yordenis Ugas, right? At that point, he has no reason to fight nobody else, technically. But if he doesn't fight Yordenis Ugas, then I believe he will be hammered down with the IBF mandatory first. He will have to come back, at least with Yordenis Ugas or whomever will have that WBA belt. And at that point, he'll be ready for Bud. After Ugas, he's always ready for Bud. But even in that situation, where does this man fit in? Where does this man fit in, fam bam? Oh, we about to get heavy now. We about to get heavy now. My brother D-Lo 44 Boxing in the super chat. Thank you, family. Thank you, man. Much love to you, fam. Hold on, let me read that, man. D-Lo say, yo, man, when Andre told Spence, since he is in this business, he can get action, the Pom Pom Squad lost their ish. But Canelo versus Spence at 160 is super cool all day. You see how that works? That's big facts right there. Oh, and Andre, he said he disrespected Earl for the stuff that he said and blah, blah, blah. But at Canelo, he can run to Canelo's fight. Canelo in town? Oh, I'm going to the fight. Front row tickets. Front row tickets. But when Andre called him out, Andre too big. That's this, that's that, that's this. You know it's always something. Salute to my brother D-Lo, man. You know it's always something. But let's talk about this man right here. I want to talk about my main man, Keith. Now, I'm going to let Keith speak for himself. Because Keith is talking real talk here. As much, I want people to remember something. As much as Spence Nation dislikes this man right here, remember something. Because I see how Rev Porter try to change this whole man's image around and make him like he wasn't this and make him like he ain't that. No fighter from this era has defeated Keith Thurman. I'm going to say that one more time because I don't understand y'all understand the significance of that statement. There's no fighter in this era, no Earls, no Dannys, no Seans, no Terrence, no nobodies that has beaten this man. Yeah, Manny did it. Manny's a legend. Great performance from Manny. That's a different video. The fact of the matter is, none of these dudes have beat him. And they're walking around with belts on from a man that they didn't beat. Let's listen to what Keith got to say. Keith, tell him what's on your mind.
Fight Spence or Crawford? I like the Spence fight, baby. That's 2 belts. You know what I'm saying? And one of them mine anyway. That WBC was mine. Ain't nobody take that from me. Pacquiao took the WBA, but I gave up the WBC. Ain't nobody stripped that from me, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, rematch, I handle them. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, we be back, man. Mikey versus Thurman. You know, that's a fight. About, he's got him. You know, I was the unified, undefeated welterweight champion. Then I had injuries. Then I never got to fight EJ. Then he had a car accident. Now he don't want to say my name. Fuck Keith Thurman. Fuck Keith Thurman. Look, man, whatever happened in the past is the past. We in the new year. We in the new year. Look, let's be real again. If you ever wanted to get at somebody, ever in life, like you wanted to get at them, you know what I'm saying? And then an opportunity comes where you can get at them and all of a sudden you don't want it? What kind of fighter are you? What kind of fighter are you? You know what I'm saying? That fight, and I got an opportunity, I'm going to take the fight. Example. When I fought Sean Porter, that's not when I wanted to fight Sean Porter. I wanted to fight Sean Porter a year before that. But his daddy went and made a comment, talking about some article, talking about all this yada, yada, yada. We don't have to fight Thurman right now. We're champ. Thurman don't got a belt. When he got a real world title, we can fight him then and unify. What happened to Porter? He lost the title. But when the opportunity came for Thurman to be in the ring with Porter, I always wanted that matchup. I always wanted that get. How does that fire and that passion, how does it just die out?
I'm going to stop right there. The man says, how does that passion just die out? Where does it go? Where does it go? I mean, for many years, y'all can call Keith all the names in the world, but no one wants to dispute what he's saying. How does that just die out? Y'all hated it. They hated him for so long. Earl hated him for so long. Now he's giving you a clear-cut opportunity to say, get at me. I mean, get at me. You've been wanting to get at me, now get at me. And Earl says he don't want to fight. He don't want to have nothing to do with Keith Thurman. Sean says he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to have anything to do with Keith Thurman. And I know to the Spence fans, y'all see that as a way of, well, he's getting back at her. He's getting back at him for what he did. I get it. But I would think that the way to really get back, I don't know why Sean is trying to get back. I have no clue. Clearly, Sean is scared to lose to Keith Thurman because Keith will beat Sean. But in Earl's case, I don't understand it. I don't. He avoided him. He didn't want to deal with him. You don't hold on to nothing like that. If you want to get at me, get at me. If you mad, if you feel some kind of way, if you pissed, if you want to put hands on me, then put hands on me. I got Keith begging him. Why is everybody so avoidance of Keith? Well, people, see, what y'all don't like to deal with is the fact that Keith's style amongst these welterweights, I always say, is a very complete style. He can do everything. How much is a risk to Keith? Now, do we know his weak point? Sure. Do we know he weak to the body? 100%. But do we know he's a damn good offensive fighter as well? 100%. Do we know he can move? 100%. Do we know he can pot shot? He can put together combinations as well? 100%. Do we know he has a high boxing IQ? 100%. So riddle me this, given that he hasn't been beaten, why do they stay away from Keith Thurman? Why do they are on record saying, I don't want to fight the man? So I got to ask the question is, will Keith get back into contention? And when he does this hold up the fight? These are all realistic opponents that can occur in Errol Spence Jr.'s next two fights before Terrence Crawford. That's just the facts of the matter. And we're going to get to Terrence Crawford's side in a second and indicate maybe a couple more reasons on why it may take a while. But that's just the facts. Are all of these good fights? 100%. Are all of these the fights that the fans are asking for? Absolutely not. Will any of these fights get Errol Spence Jr. undisputed? Absolutely not. They would get him to be a unified champion. He'll have a damn good resume, but that's about as far as it goes. He'll be almost undisputed. And so Keith Thurman sits there, and he is going to fit into this puzzle somewhere. We don't know how far down the line. We're hoping after Bud. That's what I think most of us are hoping. But what if PBC makes this happen before? Riddle me that. Main man, one time is the Mike Jones of fighting back then. Hey, man. Hey, Keith got to find hunger, man. He got to find hunger. But this is a realistic possibility, y'all. I believe Jodecito Lopez should have gotten the stoppage in the 7th round. Thurman was out on his feet. Thurman wants Danny Garcia at 54. Both guys are washed up. Take on the young guys. Yeah, Keith got to put himself back into position. His absence has made people say that he got to work his way back up. But I'm just one to believe that I don't know about that whole working way back up. One good touch, and I'm ready to see Keith back in action. I don't know about all that. He get back here and all that. Get one touch due to inactivity, and after that, you going to the fire, bro. Simple. Ain't no many touches. No, get ready. I think Keith wants these fights because that's all he got left. Will Keith Thurman come into play? Let's push on, fam. Let's go to Terrence Crawford's side. All right. So those are the realistic possibilities for Errol Spence Jr. We want to get Yordenis Ugas as soon as possible. The faster that Ugas gets out of the way, gets dealt with or whatever the case may be, the second that Earl get on his job and get the damn belt, the faster we can move on from all of this. So we are rooting for you, Earl, to go and get the damn belt. And when you get the damn belt, you make sure to bring it back to Terrence Crawford. Now, here we go. Let's go over to the other side. Let me get Earl off the screen. Hold on, y'all. Where the hell I put that Earl picture at? Let me get, okay, there go my man. Let's get Bud up there. We about to deal with who Bud probably will end up fighting. More than likely. I know a lot of y'all are wondering who he gonna fight, man. Who is he gonna fight? Who is he gonna fight? What did I do with this damn picture? Hold on, just bear with me, fam. Let me get this Earl picture off. I might just have to keep it up there because I can't seem to find where I put it. All right, we'll keep it up there for now. Just for now, ain't no thing. So, Terrence Bud Crawford. Realistically, main man. Realistically, not none of your crap. Who do you think that Terrence Bud Crawford is going to fight and why? Let's see. Let's run him down. I'm still looking for that Earl pitch. I can't get over the fact that this joint just like, oh, there it is. There you go. All the way at the bottom. No wonder. All right. Terrence Crawford. First up on the list for Terrence Bud Crawford. I guess we got to place him first as a realistic possibility, but it is what it is. And this is just going according to what Terrence Crawford is saying. All right. So we'll start off with this guy, Mr. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Oh, man, you know that ain't going to happen. $40 million is what Manny Pacquiao wants. Now, Terrence Crawford has shot down every talk of anything else for that matter and putting anything ahead of this until he is guaranteed and told no. As of present day, as of today, still no official no. Most of us got an inkling in our stomach that this ain't going to happen. Most of us see the writing on the wall. Manny says he needs $40 million in order to get in there with Terrence Crawford. The man has never asked for $40 million from anybody else, but he wants it from him. But this is what Terrence Crawford wants. Why? Because Manny Pacquiao is a legend. Why? Because Manny Pacquiao is an icon. You cannot put a price on the head of an icon. Terrence Crawford has been chasing Manny Pacquiao for years. People want him to give up now. Pacquiao got maybe 6 months left in boxing. He's going to probably run for president next year. He got like 6 months left in boxing. Might as well keep on trying so you can't try no more. Might as well. Not to mention, it's Pacquiao's people. Not Bob Arum, contrary to popular belief. That said that they're going to try to go and find this money. That said that this money sitting out there somewhere. Now, Joshua and Fury can't find the damn money. But Pacquiao says he can, according to him and his people. We ain't got no results yet. But this is first and foremost. Chances of this happening, in my opinion, on a scale to 100%, I'd say about 30%. I'd say about 25 to 30%. That we get in the Manny Pacquiao. It is what it is. I'm going to get to y'all real soon. Ed Perez in the super chat. Much love to your family. And thank you, man. Thanks for reading my comment. This should be a great year for boxing. You already know, family. This should be a great year for boxing. And I'm going to stay hopeful that it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping we get all of the fights that we want to see. And I'm hoping the sport going to keep on rolling, man. Because right now, MMA turned all the way up right now. Salute to you, man, and thank you, man. I repeat, thank you for your support, family. Much love, man, much love. So Manny Pacquiao, chances of that, 25, 30%. Who's up next, realistically? Well, of course, y'all already know. Showtime Shawn Porter. Now, we just talked about him. Don't know what he really want to do. But according to Showtime Shawn Porter, he believes now that he is the mandatory. Audio, fam, watch your ears. Let's listen to what Showtime Shawn Porter has to say about this.
Oh Lordy, I don't know. I think, and I also think that there's a lot of different possibilities to making a fight happen between myself and Terrence Crawford. I think at this point now everybody's forgotten that WBO ranked me the number one contender for his title, which means I'm a mandatory fight, which means you can't just go on and fight someone else. You have to deal with the mandatory. Now you can pay the mandatory off and go and fight someone else, or you do a purse bid to make the fight happen with the mandatory. So I think that is another thing that we have at this point as a advantage is my dad and I, we understand the business and we know the business, and we can't, quote unquote, be screwed by the business, So other fighters don't understand that, and they lose their mandatory position and don't know how the fight didn't happen and how did they get paid.
All right, we're gonna stop right there. So Shawn Porter already sees himself as the mandatory, at least according to this. This is on the PBC podcast. He already sees himself as the mandatory. And he believes that if Terrence Crawford is going to fight anyone else, that they're going to have to pay him to step aside. When did he put the paperwork in? When did he activate it? Your guess is better than mine. But Shawn Porter believes that by him being in the number one position, that this automatically makes him the mandatory. Now, by that admission in those words, I would love to see the WBO come out and say, okay, cool. Shawn says he's the mandatory. We're ordering the purse bid. You got till this date to make a deal or it's going to purse bid. I would love to see the WBO do that. Y'all don't think if Shawn Porter was the actual mandatory that the WBO by now would have came out and ordered a purse bid? Shawn has been number one for how long now? He says by him being number one, he's the mandatory. Your ass ain't no damn mandatory, Showtime Shawn Porter. You told everybody a few months ago you was the IBF mandatory, when we clearly know that Akam Madukarov is right there. You told everybody you was going to be the WBC mandatory. You are the Magic Mando. So Shawn says he is the mandatory challenger. So this, along if Manny Pacquiao doesn't happen, this is next for Terrence Crawford. Now, Terrence Crawford recently came out. We seen all of the, stand by and all of that stuff because Manny Pacquiao is first. And it should be. That's the right way to go. People say, even with the split that Manny Pacquiao was giving Terrence Crawford is still walking away with his biggest payday and a legend. You don't give a damn what the other guy's doing in the legendary situation. I'm getting the biggest payday and I'm taking out a legend. Well, Shawn Porter's, I don't know if he's serious or if he just on a money grab, like, oh, you got to pay me to step. You ain't even quite the man. We haven't heard the WBO name you as the actual mandatory. But you asking for step aside money. So this is why I asked everybody last week, are you scheming? Are you scheming or do you really want to fight? So realistically, given that Shawn Porter is number one in the WBO, though we've seen others that were number one in the WBO come and go, now it's on Shawn Porter. Danny Garcia used to be there. Now it's on Shawn Porter. Now it's on you. And all we see you saying is you're the Magic Mando who wants step-aside money if Terrence Crawford decides to go and fight someone else. Word on the curb, they were talking about Terrence Crawford and Jotacito Lopez. I heard no truth to that. My brother D-Lo 44 Boxing back in that super chat. Much love to your family. Seems Porter think he is an all-time welterweight mandatory. He is the Magic Mando. He just automatically got made mandatory in every sanctioning body at the same damn time. Never heard nothing like it. Man. So he's the Magic Mando. He gets to be the mandatory of all sanctioning bodies. No one can move nothing unless you go through Porter. Allegedly. Fake ass. So at the end of the day, man, you know, with Sean Porter, I don't know what game he running. Y'all out there swear he talk on real talk. Oh, he want to fight. He want this. He's that. He's this. He's that. Y'all swear by it is real talk. But me, on the other hand, well, I don't know. Now, Sean Porter says he wants a certain amount of money. We already know the situation with this. I ain't going to get too much into the weeds on that. You know, Sean Porter wants more than $2 million. Self-admitted that starting at $2 million will be an insult to him. We know that his highest payday has been $2 million guaranteed, plus 40% of pay-per-view revenue. A deal like that from Terrence Crawford is not good enough for Sean Porter. And he got that deal against Errol Spence Jr. So that's not good enough in Terrence Crawford's case. If Crawford sent them a deal like that, according to the words of Sean Porter, that would be an insult to him if you send me the same thing that Errol Spence Jr. sent me. Tell me where I'm going wrong here. That's Sean Porter, Mr. Magic Mando over here. Don't send me the same thing that Errol Spence Jr., my biggest fight and biggest payday. Don't match that. I need you to go above that. That's the way Sean Porter wants the fight to happen. Bob Arum doesn't seem like he's happy to do that. I don't know if this happens, fam. I think the chances of it happening are very, I think it's high, but not that high. I'd say on a scale from 1 to 100, I say Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford got about a 40% chance of happening. I'd say about a 40% chance. Why? By the words of admission of Bob Arum, he ain't even dealing with this right now. This is all Todd DeBuff's business. And I don't think they really entertaining Porter. Unless Porter going to either take similar to what he got against Spence or less, they not going to have an incentive. They'll just keep on marching, I think. Is it the right thing? No. Is it what I want to see? No. But I do believe that Porter, he's going to have to either realize and look at the landscape and say, either I take what they're offering or I go fight, I don't know, until I can sit around and wait for Errol Spence Jr. to hopefully come back around. I don't know. Tell them to glove up all day. That's what I'm talking about, man. Man, that's how Bud get down, fam. We don't got time. Man, look, glove up, man. He been trying. I seen the stuff he put out there, and we gonna touch on that too. We definitely gonna touch on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the next possibility for Terrence Crawford, right? All right, let's keep it pushing. After Sean Porter, who's after Sean Porter? Who is after Sean Porter? Well, quite honestly, fam. Oh, I forgot. Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz rated number 2 in the WBO. If Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford can't come to a fight, it can go to Virgil Ortiz. Do I believe that Virgil Ortiz takes this fight? Scale from 1 to 100, I give it about, I'd say about a 55% chance of happening. 55 to 60. I think his chances of it happening versus Virgil are better than Sean Porter's. As crazy as that may sound. I don't think Black Star. I don't think Jodecito Lopez got a chance. I think Jodecito Lopez was just one of them names that they dropped. I think that Jodecito Lopez is just the new Luis Collazo. Meaning that for years they've always said, oh, we're going to send Luis Collazo over to Terrence Crawford. And they never did. Terrence Crawford never accepted that because you don't send your crap over here, bro. Don't send your trash over here. Send your best. Send some gold nuggets over here. Don't send me some hefty bag full of trash. And I think he takes the same approach to Jodecito Lopez. Don't knock the Jodecito Lopez, but it does nothing for Terrence Crawford. And that would be considered a voluntary defense. Does nothing for Terrence Crawford. I don't think he wouldn't even accept Jodecito Lopez. You know what I mean? But young Virgil. I mean, look what Oscar got to say about that, right? Terrence Crawford, have at Bob Arum call me. He put this out there on March 21st. Now, we know that Virgil Ortiz talk a good game. Oscar talks a good game before fights. Then after fights, they usually change their tunes. But in this case, they still kind of stand with it. Even though we got a little disappointed from Virgil Ortiz's call out after his fight with Maurice Hooker. We didn't feel that thunder. We didn't hear that lions roar. We didn't feel it in our stomach, in our chest. We didn't feel it. Well, even if I'm not ready, I'll still get in there and fight him, and we'll hopefully, nah. when you see Virgil's words floating around in social media world, they some tough talk. Oh, I'll give him his best fight. I'll do this. I'm ready for him. I feel like I'm this, I'm that. Well, that all disappeared on fight night. But however, since then, Oscar De La Hoya still been kind of out here. He got this out there. Virgil got some statements out there like, hey, I'm still interested. Word on the curb is that Oscar De La Hoya visited Bob Arum at his house and they had some sort of social gathering where this fight came up. I don't know, fam. I don't know. My Christopher Atkins in the building. What's up, fam? I think Al Heyman might not want the fight on the chessboard. If Crawford knocks out Porter or makes it look easy, it changes the landscape. And what if the pay-per-view comes in about equal? That's true. Then they ain't gonna want that. But that's just the whole thing, though, Mark Christopher. Like, I asked somebody that question. I said, yo, if Crawford beats Porter, what does this do for Terence Crawford going forward in negotiations? You know what the answer is? You know what the answer is? Nothing. It's just a stay busy good fight. Nothing. It does nothing for him. People will still believe he deserves the same split. People will still believe this. Now, I'm with you. Now, of course, we boxing fans, but when them promoters and them suits see the numbers, and if they hit a certain point, they're going to sit back and say, damn, we're going to have to give him this, or we're going to have to give him that. And you're right. Maybe they don't want him to shine. I always wondered why Danny Garcia became number one and had no intentions on fighting Terence Crawford. Just locked him in. Keeping that spot from being fulfilled. Interesting. Virgil Ortiz, though. So he's in line. He doesn't have no opponent announced. Now, we all know that Oscar will run the risk from losing a young star. A lot of us boxing fans try to give the signals out there to let the boxing world know that we don't give a damn. If he loses, he loses. No one is going to fault Virgil Ortiz for losing against the number one pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. No one's going to fault him for it. Now, a valiant effort is what we would appreciate. Now, we expecting him to go in there and give his best, give a damn good shot. If he loses, fine. No one's going to lose no respect for him. Matter of fact, people might gain respect for him. Now, Terence Crawford is out here saying that, he think that Virgil should hold on, pump his brakes, Let me see. Matter of fact, I got it right here. Hold on. Let me see what he said about this dude. Well, let me say this. Virgil Ortiz before the Hooker fight. If I beat Hooker and they offer me the Crawford fight right after, I'll take it. It's what I've been fighting for. This is what I want. A lot of people thought it was too big of a step for Teofimo Lopez with Lomachenko, and he beat him. So anything is possible, end quote. Those are the words of Virgil Ortiz. God damn, I ain't missed that part. A lot of people thought it was too big of a step up for Teofimo Lopez with Lomachenko, and he beat him. Anything is possible. That's Virgil Ortiz before the Maurice Hooker fight. You see? So, Lopez is a tougher fighter than Amir Khan and Kell Brook at this point, a guy with one leg, and Jeff Horn, who had a tough fight with Pacquiao and had to do 2 training camps to get ready for Crawfish. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Lopez ain't got a country, bro. Kell Brook came from the UK, so did Amir Khan. Amir Khan came with his own network. Does Lopez got a network? No. How many losses does Lopez got? When the last time that Lopez had a significant win of a top 5 or maybe even top 7 welterweight? When the last time? Why are we even talking about Josesito Lopez in this video? You feel me? Josesito Lopez is only known in the last 5 years for having a great round against Keith one-time Thurman. And you want to throw that dude in the ring with the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. Why are we wasting time? Come on, man. That's an insult. We trying to do Spence and Bud. I don't need Bud taking 2-3 levels down just to please people out there to see how good he'll look against Josesito Lopez. Because once he stopped the man, all people gonna say is, oh, he fought a bum. Oh, that's just Josesito Lopez. That will be a waste of time. And I don't think that Terence Crawford or his side is entertaining a second of it. It's a waste of time, fam. But back to this dude. This kid ain't no waste of time. Now, Terence Crawford might be shooting it down. And he's letting everybody know that, yeah, it's too early for this kid to step up. But I don't think he's totally like out of the, if this kid keep pressing and they show him some numbers, I can see Terrence Crawford taking this fight. What does it do for him? Nothing. Is he known? He got a name. He's young. You know, we always like to see the veteran take on the young up-and-coming fighter. At least in this case, this kid is popular and known, and he brings a network with him that's willing to possibly throw in just as much money. Who knows? So I'm down for this. If I don't think he's ready. It's too early for the kid, sure. But is it a possibility? And I say this is about a 60% chance. Given that Oscar and Bob Arum right now are best of buddies, and given that there ain't many places for Virgil Ortiz to go. What do I mean? He's in the second or third position, right? So at the end of the day, he's not rated high like that in no other sanctioning bodies. He's not going to have a chance at a title through the other sanctioning bodies, especially given that he fights over there on DAZN. And his only chance will be through Terrence Crawford. It'll be the fastest chance. So this is a very big possibility, unless they're going to have Virgil fighting on the lower tier for the next 3 fights. You know what I mean? But this is a possibility. This is a possibility, y'all. It's a possibility. Let's keep it pushing. And last but not least, my main man, 100 grand, and I've already went here with y'all, Custio Clayton. Custio Clayton coming off a draw with Sergey Lipinets, looking to be the first fighter from Nova Scotia to become a world champion. I repeat, the first fighter from Nova Scotia. Never knew one person from Nova Scotia. That's funny. Not one person. The first fighter from Nova Scotia to become a world champion. He fights out of Montreal, Canada. Tough, gritty fighter who is just oozing and waiting to show the world what he can do if given the proper opportunity. The Sergey Lipinets fight was a short notice fight. Short notice fight that he took on short notice because Akhmadukharov couldn't make it. And he gave a damn good fight. I thought he won. And I think he's very dangerous. I said to myself, I like everything that he does. I've always thought that Crawford is one of the best pound for pound, and welterweight is a tough division. No matter which camp, it's not an easy challenge. He would have gotten a shot before if he would not have ran after the Sergey Lipinets fight. He was in the number 1 slot. And so he's back. But number 4, number 5, I believe. Well, if Sean Porter can't get his step-aside money and chooses not to accept one of the biggest paydays of his career, then it goes to Virgil. If Oscar decides that Virgil ain't ready, he don't want to risk losing the star for real, and he just want to continue the clout chase, then they keep on moving. This is simple. Manny Pacquiao wants $40 million. I don't think that has a chance of happening. Then we're left with Custio Clayton. And I think the Custio Clayton on a scale from 1 to 100, I think Custio Clayton has about a 75% chance as being Terrence Crawford's next fight. He has no political affiliations that prevents him from fighting. He's not an expensive opponent. He's a mandatory. He can be afforded by Top Rank and Todd DeBuff, because I don't even say Bob Arum since Todd DeBuff is doing all the bit. Todd DeBuff and Top Rank can afford him. So it is what it is. So the question then for everybody then, well, main man, if he fights Custio Clayton, if he fights Virgil Ortiz, if he fights whoever, then what? Because you're saying that Earl got to fight Ugas, and then he should be pivoting to Terrence. So you should be telling me that once Terrence fight one of these dudes, that he should be pivoting to Earl. And I say abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Does Keith need $10 million for Bud? Absolutely. He already told everybody. He said he's down to talk. So Keith says, look, man, I don't want 10, just give me 7. But he's already told y'all 5 ain't going to be enough. He said, give me 7. He wants 7 to 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. He down to take any of those offers. They asked for this amount of money when Terrence Crawford is literally on his last fight, allegedly, with Top Rank. And they asked for this kind of money when the world is turned upside down and no crowds. All of this faking it till you make it. Just to save face. Fake it till you make it. Now, I'm going to leave y'all with this one. See, the other night, I did a video, and my mic was out. So I don't know if y'all got the for that, but looking at the response of it, I think y'all did. And I noticed that this is floating around more and more now, too. This is why I seen Bud Crawford's Twitter today, and I was very happy that he put the things that he put out there. Clearly, we know what we doing with this. And everybody's going insane. He's like, I'm scared of everybody. And then he put out there, yeah, well, they told me to get a belt. Yeah, they told me to do this. Wrong side of the street, wrong this. And I'm starting to notice in quite a few channels at this point, I'm starting to see the Earl and Crawford confrontation all over again. Popping up in different places, right? We just talked about this. Earl's plan. I'm not going to give y'all that video. That video has been said and done. But Earl's plan. Crawford's plan ended the night that Earl went that way and Crawford and Earl went that way. Right? It ended that night. Earl was on a voluntary defense. And he told Crawford, who had his promoter right in front of him, he told him, Crawford and his promoter, that he wanted the easy route. And we said, fine, give him the easy route business-wise. Let him have it. It's the easy route. It makes sense. He want to clear up that competition. But the easy route, 4 months later, was a Mikey Garcia fight. So when we built all the way up to that wonderful moment that took over boxing, instead of Earl saying, he says he wanted the easy route, then instead of going back and doing a fight with Thurman or Danny or Sean, he went back and fought Lil Mike. Slammed the door in Crawford's face. So Crawford says, okay, that's it. I see what you want. I see what you want. You want to go your route and make your money and do your things and do all of that stuff, then fine. Then don't expect for me to keep chasing behind your ass. I've took trips to Texas. I put you in front of my promoter while you were on a voluntary. And like Crawford said during that confrontation, you knew I would be here. I tried to FaceTime you beforehand. You knew I was going to be here. And ever since that confrontation, the man don't want to talk. He don't want to be approached at fights. He went off and made that bag of money with Lil Mike and closed the door on Keith and Terrence. We talk about kings, 3 kings, 4 kings. Well, how in the fuck can there be a king if they ain't gonna fight? Because the damn door got closed. Because we're doing Earl's plan. So y'all want this man to keep on running around the world chasing this man. And banging pom-poms for this man. When the clear-cut opportunity that he gave you, he said, yo, not only did I bring myself, I hit Bob up and say, Bob, make sure your ass is there. Because I need you to talk. And like I told y'all, if they didn't want to do nothing publicly, fine. They could have went behind the scenes and talked about it. But instead, Mr. Spence ran on the first thing smoking to Little Mike. That was the biggest moment that boxing had seen at that point in years. In years. It took over. Don't sell me that Terrence Crawford and Earl wasn't a big fight then, because it took over the sport. Instead, he pivoted to Little Mike. And so, ever since then, we've been doing Earl's plan. Now, at the end of the day, Earl's plan is commencing, so we all just waiting. In the meantime, Terrence, he can do anything he wants. Because guess what? At the end of the day, he tried to do it your way. So he can do anything he wants. He on his last contract. We'll see what happens with the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. But we want Earl to go off and get that belt. That's most importantly than anything at this moment. Most importantly, because I don't want Earl's plan messing up everything for everybody. Go get the damn belt and then come on back. Now then we'll have another conversation once we get to that moment. Once Earl, because he's a dynamic damn fighter and he can fight his ass off. Once he goes to the body of your Danish Ugas, once he get it there, give Ugas that boxing lesson. Once that happens, fight fans, then he gonna have to come on over, sit at a table, find a table, sit down, and have a conversation with Terrence Crawford. And at that moment, Terrence Crawford will then possibly let out exactly what request and split that he wants to get. Because at the end of the day, Crawford will have all of the leverage. He can do anything he wants. If he says, yo, bro, okay, I know. This is we talking about. If he says, I want 50-50, what Earl going to do? I'm going to keep leaving y'all with that because I want that to resonate. What is he going to do? And no one has yet to provide that answer to Main Man Made Man. Hit me in the comment section, fam. Let me know where I'm going wrong, if I'm going wrong. Hit me at mademan511@gmail.com. My thing is, if Terrence Crawford say 50-50, what is he going to do? Is he going to go fight Keith? Or is he going to go fight Jamel? Or is he going to rematch Sean Porter? Either way, it's not undisputed. It's not the biggest financial payday of your career. And it's not the biggest legacy achievement to this date of having an undisputed champion. You want to throw that out for what? What are you going to do? That's why Terrence Crawford is playing it cool. And that's why he ain't tripping off with any anti-Crawford fan is saying. That's the reason. Because he knows whatever that man chooses to do. Because he clearly don't want to fight me right now. Because I've did it all. I've took trips. I've come confrontations. I've done it all. There's nothing more left to do. There's no more, nothing. The only thing left to do is to do what Muhammad Ali did to Sonny Liston and pull up in front of the man's house in a damn bus. There's nothing left to do. So at this point, I'm going to chill. And whoever they figure out for me to fight in the WBO or whoever else, whatever they got going on, it's cool. I'm going to redo my deal and I'm going to keep on pushing. I ain't thinking about that fight because when I do think about that fight, he going to have to come correct, and he knows it. Or else, go up to 54 and fight your stablemate all day. Go back and fight rematch Porter. See how that work out. Leave $20 million on the table. We'll see. Much love to the fam, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. That's just the way it is, and that's just the way it is. Let me get a couple comments, man, and I'm on my way out the door, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. Much love to the fam, and salute to you all, man. Salute to you all. This was a cool show, man. Cool show. I ain't want to do too much trash talking on this one, man, so I'm going to leave that for another live stream. Mike says, yo, the UK did not support Kell Brook. Khan don't have no fans. That's why him and Crawford flop. Stop trying to run from Earl. Earl, the road is one way now. Oh, okay. Well, why did Khan fight Canelo Alvarez on pay-per-view? Riddle me that. Why did Canelo Alvarez decide to, out of everybody he could have fought, he fights Amir Khan? Why did Canelo Alvarez feel as though that Amir Khan was so profitable? Maybe he was. And then when he got knocked out in front of the world, maybe everybody walked out the door after that. Bob Arum made a miscalculation and thought that people still roll with him. But they remember him getting knocked out against Canelo Alvarez. I don't know. But Canelo thought he was profitable too, so don't just blame Bud. And also, when it comes to that Victor Postol pay-per-view, I don't know why people forget. That was Postol's moment. People be forgetting. When we charged Bud with the fact that the pay-per-views were so low, true. But I don't know if y'all remember during that time. That was Postol's moment. That was supposed to be Postol's pay-per-view. Postol was the one being groomed as the star, not Bud. Bob Arum and Top Rank was grooming Postol. They was trying to crack a new market. That fight shouldn't have been on pay-per-view. But Bob Arum and them was trying to make Postol the star, not this man. He just threw a wrench in the plans. Go back to that time, fam. Go back to that time. L-Dub in the building. My main man, 100 grand salute to my brother Lawrence Williams. What's up with your man? Salute to your fam, bam. And I hope you enjoyed the fights over the weekend. I caught that WBO rankings video you did, bro. Great video, and thanks for the update, man. Thanks for the update. Everybody that hear the sound of my voice, y'all check out L-Dub. That's fam right there, man. All day, bro. All day. Mike say, yo, man, so you're saying unproven Ortiz is a better fight for Terrence Crawford than Porter. You really scared. You protecting that O more than, but bro, ain't nobody scared of no damn Showtime Sean Porter. Bro, ain't nobody. Bro, I would love to see Sean Porter in the ring. I'm just telling you the probabilities I think is going to happen. I think Sean Porter playing games. I played the audio. The man is looking for step-aside money. Yeah, how the hell you looking for step-aside money and you ain't even made the Mando yet? At least not to our knowledge. But he says that he is. So if that is the case, then let's wait for a purse bid. I'm telling you what he's saying. I think Sean bluffing. I think he bluffing. Now he's sick, so the fight ain't going to happen, right? Fight ain't going to happen anyway. And if he do, people going to say, oh, he was sick and boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, I don't know. I think he bluffing. Why hasn't no one from PBC came out and said what they're going to do for Sean? Not one person that's came out and said what they're going to do for Sean. Ain't nobody doing nothing for Sean. Sean can't talk to Al. Nobody's doing nothing for Sean. But he's such the big threat. Thumbs up on the way out if y'all didn't hit it on the way in. We about to shut this down. Fam. Couple more comments and I'm out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know. I love educating you. Man. Danny and Sean was forced to fight Earl and had nowhere to go. And they got that ass whooped. Now, guess who else? How was they forced to fight Earl? They wasn't forced to fight Earl. Earl was in the IB. He was the IBF champion, which means he wasn't ranked in no other sanctioning body, which means he wasn't forced to fight Earl. They could have. Sean didn't want to fight Earl. Sean was forced to fight Earl, I will admit, because Sean was trying his best. Remember, he had 2 mandatories given to him from the WBC and the whole 9. He tried to get away from Earl. But that's what that game that they playing over there, man. All that just getting away from each other and trying to make money in the meantime, between time. Bud don't play them games, bro. They don't play them games. And y'all wonder why he ain't talking. Funny, when he wasn't talking, they say why he ain't talking. Now he talking, they saying he talking too much. I don't know, man. Much love to the fam. I'm on my way out of here, man. Y'all have a beautiful week out here, man. That's my time, man. We had a great time tonight. Another fine show for the books, you know what I'm saying? And this is how we're going to do it, man. We're going to continue to do this fashion throughout the week. We will do the live streams, talk our trash and have our fun. I kind of pulled back on the daily update videos, given my schedule is kind of tight right now, which I do plan on going back to. So I want y'all to know, but just right now, I cannot do them. But I'll stick with the live streams for now, and then I'll get back onto my daily updates, man. But for the most part, man, man, much love to y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed night out there, and y'all stay safe and stress and sucker free and all that good stuff. And most importantly, some of y'all, you got to go to work tomorrow, man. You got to go to work tomorrow. Now, this is the deal. When you go to work tomorrow, right, you're going to go in there and you're going to tell your supervisor that you look over the weekend, you watched MMA and you watched boxing and you was turned all the way up and you stayed up late and you could not go to sleep on time. So that's the reason that you walking up in that joint 6 hours late with a McMuffin in your hand, because not only are you tired, because you hungry, and you more so tired because if it wasn't for the production that you put in and the hard work that you put in, the lights wouldn't work on this joint. The floors wouldn't work on it. Everything will be breaking down. They need you. So yeah, I'm 6 hours late, and yeah, I'm eating a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, but give me the keys to the company car and let me be all day. Much love to the fam. See y'all on the next one. Next Thursday, we talking boxing going down all